Hello and welcome to the second edition of the Rhythmic Psalter. Today I'm in the kitchen. My name is Sue Wallace and I work for the Transcendence Trust, which helps churches with their liturgy and worship, and we also run the Sanctum conferences and the Sanctum Connect Facebook group. Today I'm going to look at Psalm 2, and just to prove that you can use anything you have to hand by way of percussion, I'm going to use the items available to me in this kitchen. So as I said yesterday, if you take words or short phrases from the psalm or things which fit the theme of the psalm, you can say them in your head, and that will help you to time the rhythm that you're playing. And so we'll start. I'm just going to start the metronome, and then I can hear how that beat goes, and then I'll start to superimpose things. So my first instrument is the humble plastic bag. So with my humble plastic bag, save us, Lord, help us, Lord, save us, Lord, help us, Lord. And now it's time for our next instrument, the tin of pasta. And once again, having a phrase to time your rhythm to really helps. So, save us, help us, save us, help us. Our third instrument is the jar of jalapeno chilies and a knife and fork. Once again, I'm going to take a phrase to help me to pray and to keep the rhythm going. This time I'm going to go for Kings of the Earth, take heed. So far we've done the plastic bag, we've done the jalapeno chili jar, and we've done the shakers made out of pasta. So now we've laid down 3 tracks. What we need next is some sort of bass noise. And for that, I'm actually going to use the worktop itself. Once again, having a phrase really helps us to time the rhythm. So now I'm going to go for the simple phrase, save us, help us. The next instrument I'm going to use is the humble pan. And for the pan, I'm going to use that heartbeat rhythm that I played on the djembe last time. The next rhythm I'm going to play is Help Us Lord on the biscuit tin. And this time I'm going to drum my fingers and do a slight cross rhythm to the other. So. Add in some other bits and pieces, just little bongs and tings, just to make things a bit more interesting. So let's have the often the gap between the music is as important as the music, so rests and having times when different groups are quiet for a little while and everybody listens to each other. So it's okay to have an instrument just playing a note maybe at the beginning of each bar and then resting for the rest of it. or to have a phrase and at the end have a bong or a ting or a short piece of percussion just leading into the next phrase, that's okay too. And sometimes people find that a bit easier than having to play all the time. If you have somebody who says they have no sense of rhythm, give them a shaker, because actually you can't do too much damage with a shaker and it generally goes with everything else. Also, people tend to have a bit more of a sense of rhythm than they think they have, and having a phrase to help time them really helps. Before we put it all together and make this psalm, one other thing I'd like to talk about is speed. Yesterday I said that in large buildings you'll have to go a bit slower, and in smaller buildings you can go a bit faster. But the other thing to bear in mind when you're running a rhythmic psalm is that you need to be able to fit the words in. And because generally they come last after you've built up all the other rhythms, you need to check that you're not going too fast to start off with. So the best way to do that is to actually say the psalm to yourself before you decide what speed to do the other rhythms at, just to check that you can actually say that psalm. So let's get the book and let's add in the words to Psalm 2. I'm just going to check with my metronome how fast I'm doing it. Oh, one other thing to bear in mind is some of the rhythmic psalms have the same rhythm in line 1 and the same rhythm in line 2, so the whole thing is exactly the same rhythm all the way down the psalm. A lot of them actually have a different rhythm for the response than for the call, but within the psalm all the second lines are the same and all the first lines are the same. And if you have any problems with the call response, then just get people to go through the responses separately to the call and then stick them both together. One other thing to mention is sometimes the psalms will have 3 lines, and when that happens either the call line will be double or the response line will be double, but it may throw a congregation, so you may just have to point out that they need to do 2 lines rather than 1. I tend to always put leaders' words in non-bold type and congregation's words in bold type, but I know some people do different colours, some people use capitals, whatever. However you wish to distinguish it, don't forget those double lines may have to be both in bold or both in non-bold. So now let's add the words of the psalm to the mix. Oh, why are the nations in chaos? Why do people make schemes together? The kings of the earth are conspiring upon the Lord and his anointed. Our God, who dwells high in the heavens, shall laugh at them, scorn them, and mock them. He'll speak to them in his great anger. He'll terrify them with his fury. Yet I have appointed my own king on Zion, my great holy mountain. I will proclaim the laws of my Lord. He said this day, you are my son now. This day I've become your own father. If you ask in prayer, I'll give nations. The ends of the earth, they will be yours. And now, kings of earth, act with wisdom. Take warning, earth's powerful rulers. Serve God, kiss his feet with devotion. They're happy, those with God as refuge. So, now let's stick it all together and actually hear and experience Psalm 2 as an act of worship. Nations in chaos. Why do people make schemes together? The kings of the earth are conspiring upon the Lord and his anointed. Our God, who dwells high in the heavens, shall laugh at them, scorn them, and mock them. He'll speak to them in his great anger. He'll terrify them with his fury. Yet I have appointed my own king on Zion, my great holy mountain. I will proclaim the laws of my Lord. He said this day, you are my son now. This day I've become your own father. If you ask in prayer, I'll give nations. The ends of the earth, they will be yours. And now, kings of earth, act with wisdom. Take warning, earth's powerful rulers. Serve God, kiss his feet with devotion. They're happy, those with God as refuge.